In every corner of the world, voices travel through invisible highways of code and light. We share. We learn. We dream. But in the shadows of this vast, connected world, something else stirs. Silent watchers. Hidden traps. Lies dressed as truth. Every click, every swipe, leaves a trace, a footprint, and sometimes a target. But we are not powerless. We can learn the language of the digital realm. We can read the signs, hear the warnings, and guard what matters most. Welcome to the Watchtower, a place where we rise above the noise, where we see the dangers before they strike, where every citizen becomes a guardian, not just of their own digital life, but of the community we all share. This is the beginning of your watch, the Digital Watchtower. Observation, awareness, protection. From the Watchtower, every horizon looks different. Some see only the dangers. Others see only the promise. But a true guardian sees both. Dr. Mariam Temitayo Ahmed has walked the corridors of the digital world in every form. As a teacher, a researcher, a mentor, and a relentless advocate for safety and inclusion. From Africa to the Middle East, from North America to every place where connection is life. She has stood with those seeking to understand, to protect, and to lead. She knows the terrain we all live in, the beauty of connection, and the shadows that hide within it. She has seen the scams that steal trust, the breaches that shatter livelihoods, and the silent watchers that move unseen. And still, she believes. She believes in the power of awareness, in the strength of community, and in the courage of ordinary people to become extraordinary guardians. Today, she stands here, not to speak at you, but to guide you. Through the coming months, she will take you beyond fear into understanding, beyond the noise into clarity, beyond the shadows into a place where you can see threats before they arrive and guard what matters most. This is your guide. This is your moment. Together, you will keep the watch.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are joining us in the world. My name is Mira West, and it's a real joy for me to introduce the two incredible guides who will be leading our program today. First, I am thrilled to introduce Dr. Mariam Temitayo Ahmed. She is a truly respected cybersecurity educator, researcher, mentor, and a powerful advocate for digital safety and inclusion. With over a decade of experience spanning Africa, the Middle East, and North America, Dr. Ahmed has dedicated her career to building safer digital environments and nurturing the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. She is currently a professor at Cambrian College in Ontario, Canada, shaping minds in everything from cloud security to cyber ethics. Beyond the classroom, she is a dedicated mentor in the Women in Cybersecurity Mentorship Program, where her leadership continues to inspire and shape a more secure digital world for us all. And joining her is the equally inspiring Mariam Shuaibu Aliyu. Mariam is a cybersecurity awareness specialist, an educator, and the brilliant founder of Cyber Hijabi Tech, a platform committed to empowering women with practical skills and mentorship in cybersecurity. Her own journey into technology is a powerful story of resilience and determination. And today, she channels that passion into leading trainings and community programs that are actively bridging the gender gap in tech. As the cybersecurity facilitator at Aisha Kwaku and Associates and lead trainer at her own organization, Mariam speaks with such heart about digital empowerment and the vital role women play in securing our future. Together, these two remarkable women bring not only a wealth of expertise, but also a shared, passionate commitment to making the digital world more inclusive, safe, and empowering for everyone. So please join me in giving a huge warm welcome to Dr. Mariam Temitayo Ahmed and Mariam Shuaibu Aliyu. The floor is all yours.
Hello, everyone. Good to have you here again. Yeah. So we are all welcome again to our digital tower. It's good to have us here, and I look forward to an exciting moment this morning, afternoon, wherever time we are in our various places. And for this week, we are looking at an interesting one. It's still trying to keep our cyberspace a safe place. That is our mission. It's a collective responsibility. And this week, we want to look at think before you click. Every attack starts with a click, right? So, how do we protect ourselves? How do we protect our organization in this digital world? Remember, it's more like we stay more in the digital world than even in the physical world. Always remember that. And the more reason we have to really keep it safe, right? So our cybersecurity is just a way to protect our digital lives. And when we talk about our digital lives, we mean the systems, we mean our networks, our personal information, right? From criminals, for cyber criminals. So we need to protect ourselves. And why do we need to protect ourselves? Just to reflect more like we are reflecting back on what we did in the previous month. you know we need to protect ourselves, we need to protect our businesses, we need to from financial loss, we need to protect ourselves for privacy reasons. Those information that you think doesn't matter as an individual matters to the people who are ready to compromise or who are ready to make use of this thing. So we have to protect ourselves in any way that we think we could you know so the digital threats landscape, part of what we actually discussed last month, we talked about what are the threats, what are you protecting yourselves against. We are protecting ourselves from malicious softwares that are actually designed to damage, to disrupt your activities, to gain unauthorized access. Basically, what you try to protect yourself against is someone who is not authorized to have access to your information, to have access to your network, to have access to your system should not have access to it. Right? We are protecting ourselves again from phishing. We will really be looking into phishing today because, yeah, that is one of things would always think about when it comes to this clicking of a thing, receiving deceptive emails, websites, right? You see a link that tells you once you click on this link, you've just won $20,000. And yeah, everyone wants to get rich. And the quicker the better. So we are trying to uh, the cyber criminals at the same time are also trying to take advantage of this because they know this is our weakness. This is how they could actually we are vulnerable when we share that good news that we are not expecting before from nowhere. You just hear that, wow, you could get this amount of things or you could get this opportunity. It might even be a job interview you know Someone looking for a job, you can imagine, and you just received an email, wow, this is a very high paid job, and congratulations, we are now inviting you for an interview. So these are phishing emails, or this could be a phishing email. Then today we'll be looking into it. How do you recognize a phishing email, right? The data theft, unauthorized access to your personal and sensitive information, for criminal purposes. Social engineering, one of the major things we have to protect ourselves against is social engineering, psychological manipulation tactics to trick you to revealing confidential information. Social engineering is not something that just happens overnight. It could happen over a very long time. People engineer people for 6 months, for 1 year, and even for years. Kind of. I would say cyber criminals are actually patient enough to, to just take it one step at a time. So likewise, as someone who wants to enjoy staying on the cyberspace, you want to enjoy safety, you want to be protected on the cyberspace, you also have to think before you click. You don't have to jump at everything. So that's patience. We also have to learn it. Yeah. So let us take a moment to evaluate ourselves on in our interaction with links, emails, attachments, downloads, right? We receive emails almost every day. There are new links coming up from our bank, from the banks, from our workplace, from Amazon. Possibly you ordered for something. This simple habit is what we need to do. Think before you click. Before you click on that link, before you open that email, before you jump at that message, you need to look at it again, give it a second look. Okay, so it is something that should just be part of you. Don't rush to anything like, oh, it's an email, it's a good news, it is urgent, I need to fulfill this right before, something is taken away from me. You just need to just pause and think it over. Is this the right thing? Is this the right thing to do? Are you sure I could go ahead to click on this link? I'm going to give you some examples, even for personal people who are in the digital system. I know people are already in the digital systems. Even me personally, I'll give you my personal example. I've received several emails, several SMS. Some would look so real. Some actually I'll know from the very start. This is nothing but what, yeah, someone trying to play with me. And yeah, at times I just kind of go along with the person, and at times I just cut it off, depending on how much time I have with myself. So, what is the cost of careless clicking? Careless clicking can be very expensive, more expensive than we can even think of. At times, we might look at it that, what do I have? What do I have that someone wants to stake from me? And that alone gives us some level of relaxation. It's okay, let them get my information. Like someone would say, how much do I even have in my account? So why should why should anybody be interested in me? What about your reputation? If you have nothing, you have your reputation to live for, right? So criminals at times are not for financial gains only. They could always be for what? Identity theft. They want to steal your personal information to impersonate and commit fraud. How do you want to clean yourself? It's okay when I'm free of trouble. I'm not into any trouble. I'm not doing anything suspicious, right? What about if someone use your information and use it for something that is bad? Okay, that alone is enough reason for anyone to think, I want to keep my identity safe. I am not ready for anyone to use my information in a way I won't be able to defend. Okay, so you don't want anybody to damage your reputation. You don't want anyone to take your money, your hard earned money. Financial loss is one big reason cyber criminals would also want to get into anybody. Okay, so that clicking that we are talking about, that careless thinking, one could lose a lot of money. Money is not easy to come by. Imagine the money you've actually worked for years, and someone just coming from nowhere, taking almost everything away from you. Where do you want to start from? Okay, system compromise, infected devices, making that devices unavailable for use. One of the main goals of cybersecurity is availability. And what do we mean by availability? That is making that system, that data, that information available for an authorized user is our goal in cybersecurity. And at the same time, one of the goals of cyber criminals is to make your data as an authorized person unavailable to you. So there are times that the problem is not we want to get the information from you, but we want to make you inaccessible to your own information. Imagine an information that you need at a particular time not being there. Imagine I have actually prepared this morning. I need to do a presentation, possibly I've actually prepared for days. Oh no, I'll be having a presentation this morning and everything. And I just woke up this morning and my slide is nowhere to be found. System crashes. How disoriented do you think I'm going to be this morning? So that alone, because I want to protect my information, I want to ensure that I have access to my information whenever I need it, is enough reason for me to think before I click. Data breaches, that is exposure to sensitive personal and organizational information to cyber criminals and competitors. As an organization, it is not everything that we want to put up in the public. There are different categories of information. There are information that are meant for the public. There are information that are private to the organization. And there's another level of information which is confidential. Confidential information is not even meant for everyone within the organization. Possibly top people in the organization, the management. Okay, so we don't want to open this information to who we do not want it to be open to. And the more reason we all have to always think about what, how do we keep safe in the cyber world? So the average victim spent over 200 hours and $1,400 recovering from identity theft incident. How much time do you have in your hands? How much money do you have in your account? That you just want to give some free money to someone who has decided to make you a target. Okay. And there is one wise man that says there are two types of people: those who have been attacked and those who do not know that they have been attacked. Okay. How right that statement is, I don't know. But the thing is, you just want to play your own role as much as you can to make sure what you secure your information as much as you can. Yes, phishing. Phishing is one major thing attackers do on the cyberspace. And what do we mean by phishing? Phishing attack. They are sophisticated con games where cyber criminals masquerade as trusted entities. They come as what? Trusted people, either as your bank, or possibly your employer, or your popular service providers. It could be a website that is well known. You feel, wow, this website looks real. I mean, it's the same website I've been buying from. And all of a sudden they send you an email. Oh, well, your card has just been, or possibly we've just noticed that someone changed your address or something and you need to verify this information. So click on this link. The problem is not with that service provider. This problem is with you. You need to think first. Are these people real? Am I sure this information is coming from the right person? Right? So, this particular type of attack is something that has evolved over time from coming from an obvious scam of definitely I don't know this email, right? To something that would look so real. I'm going to show you some examples of some of those little things that you might see in the email heading, and you would feel, wow, but I thought it was the same thing. It's not the same thing. Imagine replacing your L with a 1 in possibly Gmail. So you see that and you feel, wow, this looks real. Okay. So a little pause might save us a lot. Modern phishing attempts are more of what? Psychological manipulation, urgency tactics, and convincing visual. These are the things they use. Okay. Psychological manipulation, somehow they know what everybody wants to hear. You know, I once had a project with my students, and we what we did was actually fishing, and luckily we worked with a particular organization that gave us the contact of their staff members. They actually wanted to model a training, a cybersecurity training. So what we did was, the students were grouped into different they were grouped into, I think, three, and we had a particular group that did the email phishing, some other one did the SMS phishing, and some other one did the telephone phishing, which is the vishing. Now, some people called, some people sent messages, while some others sent an email. That what we asked them to do was think of what you think. I mean, what idea or something that people can easily be like, wow, this looks real. Somehow, for those people that used, yeah, you have just won $20,000, you have just won $30,000, they never got any victim. Why? Because everybody knew that this is not real. How can I win 20,000? How can I win 30,000? In some places, that might look real, but in this particular place, somehow people are feel, no, this looks too much. And for that reason, nobody fell into that. And especially because it's coming from an organization where they had already had what? They were trained. Possibly, if they were not trained, some of them would have fallen for it. But they were trained before we actually carried out this exercise. So at the end of the day, we had people that they never fell for all these 20,000, 30,000. Guess what people fell for? You won't believe it. You have won, is it was it $5 or $10 card of Tim Hortons? Something very affordable. But it looked real because it is affordable. Tim Hortons is almost, I mean, is a place where almost everyone visits. So it's more like a psychological manipulation. You know, people visit this place. Like everyone takes Tim Hortons. Oh, maybe because I was there the last time, or maybe because I've spent so much at Tim Hortons, and now Tim Hortons is giving a card, a gift card. So it was a gift card of possibly $5 or $10. And yes, we had people who fell for that, despite they already had the training, the cybersecurity training. Then convincing visual. You look at the video, you look at everything, and it looks so real. And you could easily fall into that. But remember, we're in the world of what? Artificial intelligence. Anything now can be built. The more reason we have to take an extra step in pausing before we click. So we've talked about this malware and ransom threats even in the previous one. So the malware is also something that people spread seriously through a click. Okay, how it spreads? It could be through an infected attachment, malicious software, downloads, compromised websites, USB drives, and removable media, social engineering tactics. So these are different ways that what people can spread the malwares. When people click on a website that you shouldn't click on, when people are inserting USB drives and removable media into your computers, that's why we still need our antivirus. Antivirus seems to be like our first known way of stopping attacks. Yes, and it is still very much relevant despite all our technologies and everything. Though the good thing now that we do have is now antiviruses are more like an inbuilt system into cybersecurity systems. Okay, for example, we have the Palo Alto firewall, which has what? An inbuilt antivirus, anti-spyware, that protects your network. So we have it more like an embedded system, right? Rather than what's standalone. We still have the standalone that could help you protect your system. Then prevention is key, is very important. Never click suspicious links. Before you think of how do I get myself out of what I have clicked in, just take those few seconds. It could be 2, 3 seconds. You pause before you click. Verify before downloading. Keep software updated. We have what we call the zero malware, which of course I also explained last week. One of the ways we can keep ourselves safe from this 0 day malware is what we keep our software updated. We update our patches, because as these software developers also realize that, oh, there is a new vulnerability in the system that has been discovered, what they try to do is they try to update the system. Then regular backups. You cannot be 100% free. You know, in cybersecurity, it is a state of being, is not a state of being. Protection is a continuous effort. It is something that you continue to build on. It's not something that you could say that, yes, my system is protected and now, I could go to bed and forget about security. No, it's a continuous effort. So in that continuous effort, we always plan on what? Recovery, because we know there's still this little possibility of being attacked. So whatever system you're using, whatever network you're using, think of recovery. What about if something happens to my system? I know I have tried. I am not clicking on anything. I am protecting my system. I have done all I could, but there's still this possibility. And that is why we would always talk about what? Business contingency planning, BCP, incident response, disaster recovery. So we, as an organization, these are documents that you need to keep. IRP, incident response plan. You need to keep your DRP, disaster recovery plan. Okay. BCP, business continuity plan. So these are documents that we have to keep and keep updating them regularly. And our backup is always a key when it comes to recovery. Two files that I don't joke with in cybersecurity is your monitoring file, your monitoring system, and your backup file. And I would always say to cybersecurity analysts, it's okay if your prevention system fails, but your monitoring system must not fail. You should always be at alert. You should always know when something is wrong. And your backup must not fail either. Because if it happens, how do you want to recover? The only recovery system, or the easiest recovery system you could have, is through backup. Okay. So there are so many damages that could be done with the malware. Files could be, and it could be damaged. Your system performance severely degraded. You will just notice that a system that works perfectly stops working as it should, right? Then personal data is stolen and sold, and we have already talked about what people could do with your personal data. No one wants to go through that. Financial extortion demands, business operations disrupted. So paying ransom does not guarantee you will get your files back. Ransomware is a very common threat now. People getting access, deny you access, and at the same time asking you for a ransom before you could be given access to your own file. You are the original owner of this file. Now someone took it away from you and is asking you, if you do not pay this particular ransom, I won't release your file to you. Unfortunately, even paying that ransom does not guarantee that you're going to get your file back. You find out you pay back, you pay the ransom. What you're just trying to do by paying the ransom is enriching the criminal. Assuming you have your backup, assuming you have a backup well saved somewhere, even when the guy have access to it, what has failed is the confidentiality of the file. But at least, and the confidentiality might not fail if your file is even well encrypted. And that is why I would say what security onions. I hope we still remember when we talked about the security onion in the previous episode. Okay, having multiple layers of security, having the more multiple layers that you have, the better for you. Okay, someone who has an encrypted file, your file is encrypted, and yet someone still took that file away from you, compromising the availability. I do not have access to the file. Okay, but the confidentiality is protected because your file is encrypted, right? Now, for you to now get your file back for availability reasons, then you have to have a backup. So having a backup enables you to overcome the pressure of what availability. Now, at the same time, because your file is what encrypted, you've protected the confidentiality of your file. So having multiple layers of security is always what the best. Now let's look at this: spotting fake websites and links. I mentioned this briefly last week, that having what HTTPS, I mean last month. Okay. So you look at the what padlock icon on the login pages for sensitive transactions. Once you see that, then you can be rest assured that what, yes, most likely this is a healthy link. This is a secured link. So then look for misspellings. There are always some tiny misspellings. Gmail being replaced by a one instead of the L. Instead of Gmail, you're having what Gmail, okay, .com. It might look real, but it is not real. Okay, it is not real in any way. Then question unrealistic offers. When offers looks too good, don't jump at it. Okay, someone who has been looking for a job for possibly a long time, and through a text message, so a place you never applied to, you never even contacted, just saying to you that congratulations, we are offering you. Like, seriously, is that how, I mean, how easy to offer me, you know, something you were not expecting before, or possibly someone you've never provided any services to and is trying to give you a gift that you never worked for, you know. So all these are ways that you could easily tell when something is not going on well. Then trust your instincts. It's like we are all blessed. God has really blessed us with this human instinct. Like something is not just feeling good. Then, if something is not just feeling good, ask yourself. At times, you might not really be able to pinpoint on what exactly is not feeling good about this email. Okay. So, what you need to do is go back to search, go back to your Google, search for the website, search for the grammar, look at the grammar content, look at the way everything is spelled, and try to do a little investigation. Take your time to examine your URL. It is not time wasting. What is going to cost you if your system is compromised, if your account is compromised, is a lot more. That those few seconds of verification can prevent hours of incident response. Incident response is something that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of step. It's not something that just happens when an incident. I mean, oh, there's an incident, then we've recovered. No, incident recovery could always take a lot of time. So that's the reason we have to just know that we need to take those few seconds to look at what is going on. Social engineering, we've also talked about this. Okay, social engineering attacks don't target software vulnerabilities. It is physical attack. It's more like physical attack. It is human psychology, right? It's not about, oh, they used the software, they were able to get into my system, or maybe there was an SQL injection or a website injection. No, 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 no. There wasn't any manipulation. But what they have actually done is get those information from you. So they target that human psychology. They manipulate, or possibly that's natural tendencies to help, trust, and react quickly. an example, of course, we always come about around this on possibly WhatsApp, on our Facebook, when people would send you an email or I mean a message that so person is in trouble, please can you help? Just your willingness to help, that willingness to help could turn to a big thing. So when you see that someone is asking for, it could be someone you know, but when it comes with urgency, oh, can you quickly do this for me? Like, just know that you need to pause. You need to pause. You need to take a pause and possibly call the person directly. Make a direct call, right? Impersonation, pretending to be authority figures, colleagues, or trusted services to gain credibility. You might have just gotten to a new organization and someone just came to you, want to be your friend, start talking to you, being nice to you. No, I'm not telling you to start suspecting everyone, and I'm not telling you not to be nice to a new employee, but take caution, watch it. Okay. Those information that you think they are ordinary, they are just ordinary information to you, could mean so much gain to another person, and could mean, could give them access to you than you could think. Fear and intimidation, threatening consequences like account closure. When information is coming from your bank or is coming from a service, we've noticed that your account is not updated, and for this reason we are closing down this. Ordinarily or ideally, most banks would give you like some time. If you do not respond in the next 3 months, if you do not respond, or if we do not see any activity from you in the next 6 months, cyber attacks do not do that. They want you to do it instantly within 24 hours. If you do not do it, so when you see this fear and intimidation, someone intimidating you to go do something, then take caution. Curiosity and exploitation, using intriguing subject lines or mysterious attachment as bait to encourage interaction. So all these, or possibly using some things that they know that gist lovers would like to hear, you know. So out of curiosity, you want to click on the link. Oh, what is going on? Ah, have you heard, the latest gist? Bringing it as they edit, they want to discuss this information with you. They want to know your perspective about this. And the next thing, they are gathering their own information. So, how do you verify a link? How can we be safe? How do you want to verify that this link is something I should click on or possibly not? One is you try to over the links. You over the links before clicking. That means you take your cursor to that particular link to check if what it's, because you will see the original name of that link just below the link if you take your cursor to it like this. So if you put your cursor on the link and it gives you the same thing as what you're actually seeing on that link, then it is likely to be a good link. But if it is different, you're seeing something else. I'm clicking on possibly I'm clicking on Amazon.com, and the next thing I'm seeing below is XYVUX. Then something is wrong somewhere. This is a broken link. Then check this domain carefully. Check the domain carefully. We have Amazon.com. When you receive an email and it's telling you this is urgent, and when you check the domain, when we say the domain, that is that Amazon.com is the domain, or possibly that thing that comes before the .com is Amazon, right? Now check what comes before the .com in that particular email. If you see something like Amazon dash security, that is another domain. It is not the same domain. It's another thing. So at times they use what you already know. In fact, another one could use Amazon1.com. That one makes it a totally different domain. Okay. Then use secure networks when browsing. So always verify your links on trusted secure networks. Public Wi-Fi can expose your browsing. Free Wi-Fi. Go to the restaurant. Oh, they have a free Wi-Fi in that restaurant. That's why I like eating there. You are only exposing yourself. Okay. So We need to watch out for what we do on public Wi-Fi's, right? So you have to check what you do. For things that are very sensitive, avoid using the public Wi-Fi's. Email security tips. How do we get secured on our emails? You need to verify your sender identity. Check the sender's email address carefully, not the name. The name might be familiar, but when you go to check the sender's email, then you find out this person has only what mapped the name to a fake email. So we need to check out forward the sender's identity. Be sure that you have the right person sending you the email. Avoid clicking unknown attachments. If you're not familiar with that contact and you don't want to compromise your account, do not click on the attachment. An unexpected attachment, you don't click on them. Report suspicious email. You think this is suspicious? Forward phishing attempts to your IT security teams immediately. It is not just, like we said, protecting our cyberspace is everyone's responsibility. It's not just about protecting yourself. What about those people who actually do not know the need to pause? So you need to send it directly to your IT security team. And IT security team would just have to use the what intelligence to stop similar emails from getting through to the organization. So you are protecting others. Our duty is not just to protect ourselves, but also to protect others. We also talked about multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication, having complex passwords. Have complex password, use unique password, consider your password managers for security, update your passwords regularly, and never share passwords with others. So your two-factor authentication have at least two ways to verify. You have your password, then whether it is possibly sending a code to your mobile device or possibly your biometric, as your second uh, password mechanism, have a two-factor authentication. Okay, so two means of authentication. And from a good news to everyone is what accounts with two-factor authentication have been found to be 99.9% less likely to be compromised than those with just one password, with just the password. Okay, so you can see just a little tip of what multi-factor authentication, how long it could save us. So having multi-factor could go a long way in saving us on this cyberspace. So the safe browsing habits. We need to have some safe habits while browsing. One of it, of course, we've mentioned is what pausing before you click. Very important. That little pause could go a long way. Use updated browsers. Vulnerabilities, we have new vulnerabilities being discovered every day. So there is a reason they update your browsers. Don't ignore those updates. Update your browsers to be safe. Avoid public Wi-Fi for sensitive activities. You want to send money to someone or you want to do a bank transaction and you're actually using a public Wi-Fi. Anyone could be getting your information through that. Yeah. If you must use a public Wi-Fi, you have to what? Encrypt your connection. Install antivirus. This is something that we've known like since for ages, that antivirus protect our system from malwares. Now it is still protecting our systems. Malware is something that we are still dealing with till date. So having an antivirus is not luxury, it is a necessity. Have an antivirus. Okay, and the modern antivirus would help you not just to discover the malwares, it could also detect phishing sites and suspicious downloads in real time, and that is what we want. So in all, after using all these mechanisms, we might still be seeing someone sending us suspicious messages. So what do we do with those messages? Do not click on links. resist that urge to check, oh, did I really win that $50,000? Did I really win that 1 million naira? That urge is always there, like, and it could be real, somebody said that was how they got rich, but so many people got broke out of that as well. So resist that urge to investigate, to click. Report it to your IT security team. Try to protect others, not just protecting yourself, so that they could actually what blacklist that email or possibly that link and delete it immediately. Delete it once you report to the team, then you can delete. Okay. Trust your instinct. These things feels I'm just I don't know, something tells me this thing is wrong. Trust it. Then it might be wrong. And yes, it might be good at the same time, but at least what it's telling you is for your instinct to tell you, be careful. Then be careful. Then you need to pause. You need to check. Just give it a second check and confirm if this is really something you want to go ahead with. So, organizational policies at the organization level, like someone asked, how can we help our students? I remember someone asked last month, how can we help our students in knowing that what how they need to keep safe? Education, train your employees, have some student seminars to inform the students on how they need to be protected. You know, you might feel we've heard this like over time, but it is not too much because it's like where we stay, where we live, and people are always in a rush to do stuff. But the more we hear it, the more we get more conscious about it. Like, wow, we need to pay attention. Have clear cybersecurity policies. As an organization, I always tell people would always look at cybersecurity from the very technical aspect of it. But one thing that guides cybersecurity is the policies. We hardly talk about this, but it's hold a very strong thing. I mean, it's a very strong one in cybersecurity. If there are no policies guiding the technical teams, then what are they guiding? Okay, so as an organization, you need to have a strong cybersecurity policies, an AUP, acceptable user policy. What are the do's and don'ts in your organization? Which website should be allowed and which website should be blocked? Okay, so all these are part of what the role the organization, the institution can play in keeping a clean cyberspace. Provide secure systems. Provide secure systems, ensure that the system we are giving to the employees, the system we are giving to the students, if you have students bringing in the systems into your organization, that is the BYOD, bring your own device. In your bring your own device, give the student the access to an antivirus within the organization, within the institution. So all this would help us to reduce the risk of what being having a school or possibly a system that is compromised. So at this point, I'm not sure if Mariam Shribe has joined us. If she's here, please, yeah, she would like to share some case studies with us, some recent case studies of where possibly, okay, so just a click, recent case studies where just a click has led organizations to losing millions of dollars. Okay, so the case study I have here is the 2020 trader hack. You know, it all started with a click, and this is an attack that's targeted, over 1 million users. Even the trust people have with such an organization is gonna break at that particular time. So it affected so many things within that organization. So many things have been affected. Okay. So, as an interactive exercise, as much as I love to talk, I don't want it to be talk, 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 talk without people, yeah, seeing people's response. Thank you very much. I could see some people's response here. So, we're still going to also have an exercise. I hope I won't take much of our time. All the same. So from this particular one, we have security at yourbank.com. Urgent. Account suspended. What are those red flags we could see? I know I have it on my screen already. You know, your account has been temporarily suspended due to suspicious activity. Click here immediately to verify your identity and restore access. One of the things we would see is the urgency. How can you block my account without informing me? And the next thing I'm receiving is my account has been suspended. No information, no possibly there wasn't any alert like, oh, you are not doing things right and you need to do this, right? But the next thing I saw was my account has been suspended. So this kind of situation is one that one would not actually want to joke with. You will know that what there is this urgency doesn't look real. It doesn't look real at all. Then would also see a misspelt. It might look tiny. Your bank having double K looks suspicious. When do we start spelling bank with double K? So it could be, I mean, your bank, and it could be possibly the name of your bank. It could be at GT Bank with an extra K .com. So when your GT Bank has an extra K, if you do not look closely, you might, oh, this is GT Bank, especially using the same logo of GT Bank. What does it cost them? They use the same logo, they use everything. But with that, what domain name just being adjusted with just an extra key, then one is gone. You believe it. Demands an immediate action. It's not an action of, okay, fine, you could do this in the next 3 months. If you do not do this in the next, no, immediately. You need to click on this link immediately. Less than 24 hours. We are giving you, we want you, if you do not do this, in less than 6 hours, in less than this hours, it is gone. So you also want to do it like urgently. Request credential verification. At the end of the day, they would ask for all your kind of identity. If possibly your ID, your SIN, your NIN number, your BVN number, oh, then just tell them thank you. Thank you, don't worry, I'll be fine. Okay, so here's another one. New health insurance options from the HR at companybenefits.net. Review your updated healthcare benefit package. Please complete your enrollment by clicking the secure link below. This looks more real. I mean, you would agree with me that this actually even looks more real than the other one, but then it still doesn't give you, I mean, it's still not a good one. Normally, you should have HR at company.net or possibly.com, but what you have here is what? Company dash benefits. Okay, then unexpected benefit enrollment. When you signed your contract, did they promise you healthcare benefits? So send a message directly to your HR to confirm. Have you actually adjusted, or possibly is this a new thing? Is this something you've just started for us? I mean, your organization might actually be starting something that's beautiful, right? So you need to confirm from the HR directly before you go ahead to click on that link. Then generic, no name. It's not saying their Miriam, is not saying their anything, but their customer, their clients, all these are red flags. And it's now claiming click on the secure link, telling you it is a secure link. Who asked you? Who asked you, is it secure or not? Not click on this link. So they are trying to even paint it to be what? Secure. Possibly sharing that secure would make you feel it's a psychological thing. Sharing the secure thing would make you feel, oh yeah, then it has to be secured. Okay, so cybersecurity is not just about the technology. I've always said that. These are some of our takeaways. So it is about developing smart habits and maintaining constant vigilance. And these behaviors would help us to keep safe in our cyberspace. Pause before clicking. Before you click on anything, you need to pause. Verify before trusting. Verify that email. Do not just trust. Pick up that phone and call directly, before you actually go ahead. Report suspicious activity. Stay updated on cyber threats. Try to know what is going on. Like I always tell my students, continue to join as many organizations as you could when you are actually in the cyber world. When you are a cyber analyst, professional organizations is a must because technology keeps changing. Vulnerabilities are keep it keeps coming in a rate that an individual might not be able to monitor. So by the time you share information with others, others share information with you, then you are actually what updated. So these are things that we could make habits, and it helps us to keep safe on the cyberspace. And yeah, so at this point, I would say thank you all for listening. Stay alert, stay secure. Keep checking, keep pausing before you click on that link. Thank you for listening. And yeah, before I would call it a day with us, I said I would like to have an activity with you. Let me see if I have a link here. Our engineer, our IT backend officer, please, I want to share a link. Can I stop sharing this? And all right, thank you. It's just an activity I want us to have together, and I hope we would all have a good one with it. Mrs. Miriam was meant to also have a Kahoot session with us, but it's quite unfortunate she couldn't join. Okay. Having this uh, quiz quickly. So, which of these PayPal login links is legitimate? Hey, how can I see my responses from my people here? Okay. So, which of these links do you think is legitimate? The first one. So we have the official PayPal login, which is the paypal.com sign in. This is definitely not a legitimate one because it is secure, the login, the .com. So this is not it, right? And then we have the paypal.com/sign in. So what's the difference between the first and the last one? So yes. So the legitimate PayPal is the paypal.com. Option 2 definitely uses a different domain, and the option 3 uses a capital L-I. When you look at it, this is actually a I. It's not a L. So you can imagine just this one difference make it different from the original site. You receive an urgent email about your bank account. Which link should you trust? Okay, so the option 1 says urgent account verification dot Bank of Africa, and then we have the bankofafrica.com, and the third one says Bank of Africa security.net. Okay, so from this, we would see that the Bank of Africa is the legitimate one. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the third one with us, and yeah, So which Microsoft login page is safe to use? Okay, so we have login.microsoftonline.com, we have microsoft-login-portal.com, and we have the login microsoftservices.com. So this is the last one we'll be looking at. Okay, so we have microsoftonlineservices.com. The Microsoft legitimate login domain is the microsoftonline.com for their cloud services. Any other options use different domains. Like we have the .org and we have another one which is .com, but then it has Microsoft-services, which is not the same domain. So I'm gonna stop here, and I'll be sharing this particular link. You could also practice on your own. It's something I prepared myself, so I mean, you could just you could look at it later and also have some fun on the website. So thank you once again for listening, and I look forward to having you all next month again. Thank you.
In every corner of the world, voices travel through invisible highways of code and light. We share. We learn. We dream. But in the shadows of this vast, connected world, something else stirs. Silent watchers. Hidden traps. Lies dressed as truth. Every click, every swipe, leaves a trace, a footprint, and sometimes a target. But we are not powerless. We can learn the language of the digital realm. We can read the signs, hear the warnings, and guard what matters most. Welcome to the Watchtower. A place where we rise above the noise, where we see the dangers before they strike, where every citizen becomes a guardian, not just of their own digital life, but of the community we all share. This is the beginning of your watch, the Digital Watchtower. Observation, awareness,